Q&A. Maybe now we're on. Welcome, everybody. We are here for our second Wednesday Q&A live. Thank you for coming on. I'm going to get everything set up here. The page is coming up now, and we'll start to see your questions. And let's see here. I am waiting to see where our questions are coming in.
And where our info dashboard is.
Yeah, so hold on, everybody. Comment moderation. Hold on, everybody. We're bringing it up. We're still new to doing this. We'll get better and better.
This is only our take 2. I think that's how we had
here we go.
Last time.
There we go. All right. Irena says, hello. Okay, I can see comments now. They're way over here for some reason.
Oh.
All right. Brilliant. Very good. So, welcome. Again, week 2 of doing Wednesday Q&A live. Had a great time last week. Filled out the full hour. Looking forward to doing that again this week. I'm David Reinashek.
I'm Katrina Reinashek.
We are the founders of Juice Feasting, juicefeasting.com. And for the next hour, we're going to take your questions. You can chat them in right below, and we will answer them for you. If we don't have the answer for some reason, I will look it up, and I will get back with you on that answer. But like I said, we had a full hour last week, and looking forward to doing that again today. So we will be doing a Q&A for everyone again next week, and then starting this May, we will be offering live Q&As weekly to members of Juice Feasting. So if you're not a member yet and you want access to this kind of Q&A so that you can get personal guidance, stay on track, get to know other members better, that's a great idea. We will be running these most likely on Zoom once we go to our crew of members for these Q&As. But for next week, it'll be right here again. As we said last week, we've got a lot of important updates that we're working on juicefeasting.com. We're making the site even more beautiful, more navigable, with more images and less text, because I tend to write a lot, we tend to write a lot, and so we want more images that get you where you need to go without having to read through so much text. Because we want Juice Feasting to get out to as many people as possible. That's been our mission for almost 20 years, is making Juice Feasting as a life practice accessible, and also making your engagement in moving your own health along accessible to you, and providing the best information that we can provide, which is why I've made all the files on the Juice Feasting program and have done so many books and public talks and so on over the years. We want to provide as much to you as we can because we know what it's like to move forward in your own health, to have certain needs, to have questions based on how much information is out there, and to get some experienced guidance, which is what we're here to provide you. So looking forward to doing that today.
Hi, Tashi.
All right, Tashi.
Eureka
Springs,
nice.
Arkansas. All right, very good. So I'll bring up some topics while we're waiting for some questions to come in. Just things that have come up.
Send us your questions.
Yeah, please send us your questions, and we will see them pop up.
Type them in.
Right below.
We're excited. I think, was it Irena who sent one in?
Yep, so Irena sent one in on cerebral palsy, and I want to touch on that in just a little bit because I did some research on that and have got some good pointing out instructions on things to look at when you're addressing something like cerebral palsy and whether or not juicing is appropriate for it. So we're going to get there. I want to go over wins of the week first, since we're right at the top of the call. We have wins come in every week. We've started a blog on it. Trying to get that all rolling so that we've got graphics with that, and you can see actively the small and big wins that people are making, integrating not just Juice Feasting, but all the life practices that we've got on the site. So I'll start with one, and we're actually using this win right now. It's not our win. I've been doing this for a while, but one of our Juice Feasting. It's still a win, though.
It's a long-lasting win.
This desk, I made it myself, which you guys can't see.
When wins last years and years, that's even better.
It's even better.
Yeah.
One win is one of our Juice Feasting coaches who's in training right now. I recommended to her to get a standing desk, and she looked up on Amazon what possibilities she had and found something that she could order and take the desk she already had and raise it up. And on our call yesterday, she called in. I could see her on video, and she's standing there, and she's like, I got to tell you, I love the standing desk. It's really great. And it's wonderful for your digestion. When you're sitting down, you're cramping everything up in your intestinal tract and you don't digest things as well. It tightens up your body. You tend to get nerd neck. Sorry, I'm facing the wrong way. Or you just kind of lean forward like this. And you want your shoulders to come back and down. You want your abdomen to be open so that you can breathe deeply and you can digest things well. You want your lymphatic system to flow well. And when you're standing, all of those things are happening. It also helps to make you more of an active person. And that's something I want to come back to today in the Q&A as a topic, is identifying as an active person. So we'll return to that. But a standing desk in huge service to that. So that was a win this week.
I am not standing right now.
You're sitting on a bar stool. That's because Katrina's 6'1".
Should I stand?
And I'm 5'7". There we go. Yeah. So
now I'm standing. You need to build me a new standing desk.
that goes up to here.
This one is just for David. I would need my own.
All right. Let's see. Sean Bartolin. I hope I'm saying your last name right.
Sean, day 30. Awesome.
Going incredibly great. Going the distance this time. Appreciate everything that you guys do.
Sweet.
Thank you so much. That makes our morning.
If you want to share a 30-day win with us, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Anything. Simple, complex, and every little thing. It's important to celebrate our wins because it keeps us going.
Yeah. And that's a major topic that I discuss in coaching and in teaching, is not actually going for the major wins. I mean, yes, you can have a major win in your mind, a certain amount of weight you want to lose, or a health challenge that you want to resolve, or a certain capacity that you want to open up, like being able to run faster or something. But really where it's at in terms of moving your health forward is the little wins. It's the micro goals that you accomplish. And I mean something as simple as, I got my quart of morning water and I drank it. And you give yourself privately just a little bit of a boost from that. You're like, good job. Good job. I got in a quart of water. I put some spirulina into my smoothie, today. Right on. I did it. I went out for a 10-minute walk. You get dopamine hits from that kind of thing. Or serotonin in the brain. There are releases of various neurochemicals that are occurring when you congratulate yourself on achieving small things. And that's where it's at. That's actually how you stay in the zone or in the pocket or in a flow state with taking care of your health. Celebrate those mini goals that are accomplished.
Can I just share my morning water
Yes.
change up that I've made? I've started drinking warm morning water with lemon, which we always do lemon, but I've started adding a pinch of salt to my morning water, which feels really good to me. I'm liking it.
Nice.
It tastes delicious. It also feels really hydrating, keeps those electrolytes up. So cheers.
And salt in your juices is an excellent idea. We mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
If you've never salted your juice before, we're not talking about tons of salt here, but just take a pinch and put it in there. You'll notice there's a more round, full taste experience to your juices, and your body will hold on to those nutrients better when you put some salt in there. So give that a try. If you're on a juice feast and you're craving potato chips or some other salty thing, and you're like, what's going on? Your body's telling you the truth. It really is craving potato chips. You don't need potato chips, though. What you need is salt. So salt your juices, put a little salt in your water. You'll notice a big difference in how you feel and in your experience of the juice feast. Yeah. We'll return to salt when we talk again about intermittent fasting and juice feasting, or intermittent fasting on its own, because salting your water when you're intermittent fasting is particularly important.
And hello, Katarina, beautiful name, on day 16. Thanks for joining in. I don't think we need to do that yet. Sorry, we're still clicking around trying to figure out how to use this page.
Yeah. All right, you should be there.
Or
All
just
right.
leave it there.
There we go. Okay, let's see. Another win for the week. Let's see here. I had a client that just wrapped 30 days of juice feasting. Is actually continuing on. We're going to be touching in 1 day a week now. But he has broken a cycle that he came to me with. And that cycle was not being able to carry through with things in his life. And most importantly, not being able to carry through with things regarding his health. He'd go a few days and then just drop something. And he's done this over the years. In our work together on a daily basis over the last month, he has sailed right through, just beautifully sailed right through a 30-day juice feast and is now on his own juice feasting, and we're just going to touch in 1 day a week. And so he's really cracked the code on being on point on his juice feast and carrying through any self-doubt, boredom, keeping his fundamental practices in line. And that's, if I can toot my own horn, that's something that I've been doing for almost 20 years, and I love it, is really staying on point day to day to day through a juice feast and getting really good at doing one day of juice feasting. So I love it. I love the boredom stage of a juice feast because there's opportunity there. You realize that you have gotten into a hero's journey and gotten it down to the point, meaning that you understand it and are good enough at it, that you're now bored with something that's dramatically impactful for your health. And what you're looking for is, what's next? What else can I bring in at that point? Bored mind is actually a hungry mind. We realize that with kids. I'm bored. No, you're actually just looking for something to do. I mean, that's good. That's excellent. So a real win there.
Awesome. Here's some fresh wins from Sean.
All right,
Beautiful.
what's he saying?
Lots of wins here. Smoother skin. I love that about juice feasting.
Nice.
So good, especially when you're doing skin brushing every day. We are living right now with an outdoor shower, which makes skin brushing a little trickier because we don't have an indoor bathroom at the moment. We're living on a really small Gulf island, and I miss it. I can't wait to get back into skin brushing. But yeah, the smoother skin is so nice. Lots of healthy weight loss. Awesome. Huge energy level boosts. Less joint pain, which is the inflammation going down. You can really feel that in your body. I love that also. Better sleep and much more. Amazing. Thanks, Sean, for sharing. Those are all things that commonly happen for people on juice feasts.
Settling a lot of scores.
Yeah.
Putting a lot of good things in place.
So great.
There are not many. We were talking about this yesterday in terms of teaching and coaching, about what guarantees can someone make in anything that they're offering in their profession. And there's actually a few professions out there, particularly when it comes to self-development, that you can make guarantees about. And so I'm careful about that when I'm working with clients or when we're writing about juice feasting. But one guarantee that I can almost make 100% is that you're going to sleep better. I find almost every adult that I work with sleeps better as they move forward in their juice feast. And there are some fundamental reasons why. You're better hydrated. You're better oxygenated. Your lymphatic system is clearer. Your intestinal tract and colon are cleared out. And all of those things tend to calm the body and nourish the brain. And then, of course, you're going to sleep better. So many folks report having a better dream recall. Right? More technicolor dreams
Which
while
is also
they're
related
sleeping.
to less inflammation because our brains also experience that inflamed state from high levels of sugar or just high levels of foods that are aggravating our bodies. So when we release those, many people also report that their, dreams get way better, but brain fog also goes away for people, which is pretty awesome. Any other things you feel like you can almost guarantee?
Almost guarantee?
If not guarantee, you can say this is what happens for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, weight loss is pretty obvious. I mean, while it's not a weight loss program, because disease has weight to it and because of the cleansing state that you are generating through your own efforts with juice feasting, you're going to lose weight. How fast? Well, it depends on so many factors, but could almost guarantee everybody's going to lose weight. Joint pain goes down almost every time for my clients. I have a few cases where somebody is in their 70s and they've been dealing with chronic pain for many years, and we address that chronic pain, and maybe they become more limber, but the pain is still lingering there because it just takes longer for the body to do that work, and they may be looking at a longer time horizon to resolve their pain issues. But that being said, I have many people that are in their 70s who do resolve their pain. My father was one of those. My father was walking around just, my back. Did that for a couple of years. 90-day juice feast, cleared that right up. Day 42, he said, I'm not going to need back surgery. My back doesn't hurt anymore. Because we resolved the main underlying reasons why he was experiencing pain. Dehydration, toxemia, and the weight. He had a big animal on his front, basically, and all that pressure on the lower back caused that pain. So we rehydrated his discs just by virtue of juice feasting, reduced inflammation in his system, and reduced that physical pressure on the spine. And that was enough to resolve the issue for years and years and years. Yeah.
Awesome. So, no guarantees, but lots of probabilities.
Yes.
Like high probabilities.
High probabilities.
So Katerina is saying she's on day 16 and she's still feeling quite tired. Can't wait for the energy to come. Am I doing something wrong? Is there something she can be doing to boost that energy?
Right. So you might not be doing anything wrong, but here are the right things to do to make it more likely that your energy is going to pick up. Make sure that you're drinking your morning water with lemon first thing in the morning, a whole liter of morning water. You can be dehydrated on a juice feast. You may find that you do better drinking your juices a half a quart or half a liter at a time. So we'll make 4 quarts of juice like this, but I'll just drink it down halfway and then put the other half a quart in the fridge or in a cooler and then look at my watch and say 90 minutes from now, I'll be back here, juice, and I'll see you then, and then drink down the other half. What this does is it helps you drink your juice in about 2 or 3 minutes, because a half a quart, I mean, anybody who's drank a quart of juice particularly consistently knows that a whole quart of juice can be a lot. And you go, I drank the first half a quart. It was great. It was delicious. But the second half, this is going to be an ordeal. And it takes you 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes to try to drink that other half a quart. You're just sipping on it, walking around. Whereas when you drink it a half a quart at a time, it goes in a few minutes. Even if it had, dandelion greens or something bitter in there, you'll get down half a quart pretty quick. What this does, having a half a quart of juice every 90 minutes, is it keeps your blood sugar more even. It keeps your adrenals more even. Your nervous system actually trusts the regularity of the nutrients coming in. So if you're feeling tired, that might be a factor.
There's probably some other things you could ask her too to dial in.
Sure. So another one would be looking at your digestive fire. If your digestive fire has been low, meaning I bloat after I eat, there's a lot of things I don't feel like I digest very well. If that was the case for you, juice feasting is going to be in huge service to improving your digestive fire. But there's a couple of things that you could pay attention to. We've talked about a couple already. Morning water, drinking your juices half a quart every 90 minutes instead of a quart every 3 hours. You could also drink apple cider vinegar just in water. Get a little whiskey sized glass, put about 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in there, and optionally squeeze some lemon in there, or put some ginger, fresh pressed ginger in there is great, or some stevia drops. And then just drink that down and then have one of your juices. Or just have it in between your juices. That will strengthen your digestive fire, helping you to assimilate nutrients better, helping you to feel better. I'm going to list 2 more right now, and then you could ask me more questions on this specifically. I'm happy to entertain this. Fats. You may just be in need of more fat than you're getting in on your juice feast right now. Fat's an essential nutrient. If you're not vegan, look at pharmaceutical grade fish oil, like Carlson's lemon flavored fish oil is an excellent one, but find a good pharmaceutical grade fish oil. This will tend to bring up your energy quite a bit. There's a serotonin release in the brain when you get EPA and DHA, which are these special omega-3 fats that you get in through fish oil. That can help immensely. You can also get EPA and DHA through vegan sources. Just go on Amazon and look it up, or go to juicefeasting.com/shop, look in the supplements and superfood section, and I have a vegan EPA and DHA supplement listed there. That can change a person's world. And the other one, this last one that can change your world, is vitamin B12. You can get low on vitamin B12 eating a plant-based diet. You could get low in B12 because you have digestive insufficiency and you don't have the factors in your stomach to actually help you to assimilate vitamin B12. If you're not supplementing vitamin B12, definitely do that. And again, go to juicefeasting.com/shop. Look in the supplements and superfood section. I've got B12 on there, and you can see the one that I advise. It's got 3 different forms of B12 that are human active B12. Katerina, I will actually mention one more that came to my mind because it's really important.
Sleep?
Well, sleep's pretty important. If you're staying up too late, Katrina is right on that.
We sometimes forget how much we need to sleep, and then if you're on a cleansing protocol like juice feasting, depending on what your body is working on, it's doing a lot of work, and so it will need extra rest. It's one of the reasons, sleep and rest are one of the best detox helpers that you can do. So you may find that you need to sleep more. I feel sometimes 12 hours a night it's totally okay. I think we have this idea that we shouldn't need more than 8 as adults, but I really believe that we're fairly chronically underslept and overworked in this culture, and so it can be really beneficial to your whole system to just allow yourself to get extra sleep. Naps at night, turn off Netflix, turn off your phone, whatever it is. earlier than usual and go to bed and sleep. You may be doing that already, but sometimes that's not the most obvious one for people.
Yeah.
They just feel like they should have this boundless energy all the time, and why am I needing to sleep so much? And I think it's okay to give yourself permission to sleep more on a cleanse.
I have a whole day on the Juice Feasting Nutrition Program, the 92 module program. We have a whole module dedicated to the topic of sleep. I want to make a t-shirt that says sleep is a superfood in all
Yes.
caps. It's that important. You heal more at night. So I'm going to double click on this one really quick because you brought up a really important point. You heal more at night than you do during the day when you're juice feasting. I'm going to say that again. You heal more at night than you do during the day when you're on a juice feast. That would go for fasting as well. You're healing more at a rested state. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be going for walks or be awake during the day, but sleep is a superfood. It's crucially important. It's a huge asset to you when you're juice feasting. I can't tell you how many clients I have come to me, and this is one of their main topics. They say, I stay up till 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
I just don't sleep well. I just wish I could resolve that issue. So when you find that window of opportunity in the evening where you go, you know what? If I just turn the lights off right now and rolled back the bed covers and slipped into bed, that'd be it. I'd be done. If that comes for you at 7 p.m., like Katrina said, go to sleep. It's just fine. Just go to sleep. And sleep until 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning and get yourself 12 hours. That will taper back as your body heals and balances. The last one I wanted to mention after sleep. Protein. We've got a whole module dedicated to protein in the 92 module Juice Feasting Nutrition course as well. Protein is very energizing. You might need a bit more protein in your Juice Feasting program. Easy ways to do that: spirulina, chlorella, and hemp protein. All absolutely in accord with the goals and the needs that you have while you're juice feasting, and are huge sources of plant-based protein, which will boost your energy and help you to rebuild, because that's one of the things that's going on when you're in a cleansing and healing state. Your body's not just letting go, it's also rebuilding. And you need good protein to be able to do that. So take a look at those things. And after our call, I'll chat in below your question some of those things as well.
Great.
Excellent question. Katarina, thank you.
Thanks for the love, Tim. Hello.
All right, let's see here. Wins of the week. So another one that we had.
More questions.
Yeah, and
Send
more
us
questions,
another
please. Yeah,
question.
bring more questions.
We love hearing them. I wish I could see your faces. We are again going to try and set this up so that we can see everybody's faces.
Yeah.
Wants to ask questions, but type them in for us.
I worked with a client for the last 3 months. Most of our work together has been getting this client into walking and being a more active person and putting his mind on the things that are going to move the ball up the field for his health. Towards the end of that 3-month period, he started into a juice feast for real and did his first 15-day juice feast successfully. And we talked one morning and he's like, fantastic job. Nobody's ever done this for me before. I've actually broken through and I'm good. I'm on my own. And so he and I are going to check in about every 2 or 3 weeks now. Just going to ping him and find out how he's doing. But it took a couple of months of talking and getting his mind fully around the importance of some fundamentals that he needed to integrate for his health. And then he was like, okay, I really, really get it strongly at this point. And it was a no-brainer at that point. It's like, yes, I'm going to do that. And for him, one of the key components of moving forward with his health was actually not the juicing. I mean, he was making a lot of juice. He wasn't juice feasting. But one of the key components for him was actually getting out and walking. He sits in front of the computer, does a lot of financial analysis and that kind of thing, and just didn't actually get out for a walk. And has a bunch of kids, so needs the time to himself. And I was very intentional about expressing how profound getting out for walks actually is for your health. That this is not something that just older people do because they can't run or bike or play football anymore or something like that. But there's actually profound things going on when you walk. Most notably, 85% of your calories that you're burning when you go out for a walk are fat calories, right? So you're burning fat almost right away. So when you're in a juice feast, you want to build up your metabolism, burn a bit more fat, start walking.
It's also amazing for brain health.
Oh,
just because it increases
so
the
good.
Oxygen flow. And you've probably noticed when you're out for a walk, you get lots of really good ideas.
Yep.
Or you'll get some clarity on some questions that you've had.
And I definitely do. Katrina and I'll go for walks and we
That's a
get good
good win.
ideas. Yeah. Yep.
Going for walks every day is an amazing win.
Steve Jobs did it. Albert Einstein. Probably every great man and woman in history is going for walks to get better ideas. Yeah, for sure.
The common denominator.
On that note of being active, I've got a coach in training who is finally, she loves it. She's back at the gym because of the whole COVID era. A lot of gyms have been closed or just hasn't been appropriate to go. And she's back at the gym. The good news, the real win is not just being back at the gym, but she said prior to juice feasting and getting into our work together, 10 minutes on a treadmill or something like that to the gym would be too much for her. She said, I just went in after all of our work together. I went 15 minutes and I had to stop myself from going too far too quickly. Mm-hmm. And I brought up a really good point on this. I walked the Appalachian Trail in 1999, and I said to our coach in training, one of the pitfalls of people who are getting into long distance backpacking, where you're backpacking day after day after day, week after week, month after month, you have a long trip ahead of you, is going too many miles too soon. That you'll get in a certain number of miles, somebody will be like, oh, it's day 3. I did 8 miles yesterday. I'm going for 15 miles today with 40 pounds on their back through the mountains and all kinds of terrain. And they can do it for one day. But then they get up the next, so tempting because it feels so good. Then the next day they get up and they're just wrecked and they can't do it because they're not in condition yet. So if you're just getting into shape, much less condition, you want to give your body some time. And this is one of the topics that I wanted to bring up today in our question and answer series, is the arc of healing is long. I mean, we've made Juice Feast to be a 30, 60, or 90-day thing. You can do it for 1 day. You can do it for 7 days. But if you're feeling like, oh, I've just got to get it all done right now, move forward from that conception to one of daily improvement, constant and never-ending improvement, recognizing that the arc of healing and health is long and there's time. That doesn't generate complacency. It helps you to relax enough that then you can take the saved energy that feels so bound up in trying to make it all happen in 3 days or a week, and you take that saved energy and you put it into being quietly on point with things that really will make a difference over time. Okay? So when it comes to getting back into exercise, you don't need to be in a huge hurry to do all kinds of training. Write down what you've done and just keep walking that forward bit by bit over a course of weeks. Usually for most of us, it's really slow for the first 3 or 5 or 7 or maybe 14 days. But then after that, you're like, all right, my body's actually starting to get used to this. And now I can get into longer walks, or I can walk at a quicker pace, or I can do a few more push-ups or swim a little bit longer. Give yourself a couple of weeks at least to really adjust your body and your body-mind to being in a new form of activity, even if it's just walking and you haven't done it in a long time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, can't speak highly enough about walking. Yeah. All right, very good. Let's see. Other questions. All right, we've got one that I'm going to address in a few minutes. Why did the people at Woodstock, the big health festival, or not the health festival, the big music festival in Vermont back in 1969, you look at the videos, why did those people look so healthy? I want to address that one today.
That was a question that was asked by one of your clients,
yeah,
right?
One of my clients asked that.
It's a great question.
Really good one. So we'll answer that one in a few minutes. We had a question earlier. Was it from Irena?
I believe so.
About cerebral palsy and juicing. So you can read online about the condition of cerebral palsy and learn quite a lot about it from WebMD and that kind of thing. But some of the main challenges that someone with cerebral palsy is working with are digestion and also hydration. So, and I need my notes brought back up here in just a moment.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. So when someone's working with cerebral palsy as a health challenge, you want to focus pretty strongly on digestion. It is common to get dehydrated and also to have stagnant digestion. And by that we mean you're constipated. So does juicing work for a condition like that? Absolutely. Juice is easy to assimilate. You can compound things into juice like spirulina or chlorella or vitamin green, E3 Live. There's a bunch of superfoods, hemp protein. It's a bunch of things that you can put into a green juice or a green smoothie that are easy to digest and will help you stay well nourished in the case of cerebral palsy. So some things to focus on with digestion and hydration with regards to juices. Aloe vera, highly recommended for cerebral palsy. So look into that one. Sauerkraut. Now, most of us listening to this don't have cerebral palsy, but this is an important one. Sauerkraut in your juices. Eat sauerkraut when you're not juice feasting. Sauerkraut has trillions of microorganisms per tablespoon. No probiotic supplement on the market can beat it. And it's vegan. So if you're eating plant-based, you're going to eat sauerkraut. Sauerkraut goes with everything other than fruit. So eating sauerkraut and juicing sauerkraut. But if someone is treating cerebral palsy, that'd be an excellent way of balancing their microflora in their intestinal tract and assimilating nutrients better and not getting constipated. Green smoothies. So green smoothies are going to help with constipation long-term even more than juices themselves, because the green smoothies have really healthy plant fiber in there that's going to move through in an even way. Green smoothies also, with their fiber, delay gastric emptying, meaning how long that food takes to get out of the stomach and into the intestinal tract. This slows just a bit the progression of carbohydrate or sugar out of the food and into your bloodstream, keeping your blood sugar more even. So green smoothies are a huge asset that way over the long haul. And as I said before, green superfood powder complexes. So really looking into those things like Vitamin Mineral Green, Greens Plus, Pure Synergy. We have these things listed in the shop on Juice Feasting so you can see what we recommend, what our guidance is in that regard. Focusing on bone density. Now this will apply to all of us, even though most of us are not dealing with cerebral palsy. But things to focus on when we want to maintain good bone density. And this is a challenge for folks with cerebral palsy. Fish oil. So if you're not vegan, definitely look into fish oil. If you are doing a vegan approach, then look into EPA and DHA extracted from algae, and that will provide some really important nutrients for you to keep your bone density high. Coconut oil, also very good fat for maintaining good bone density. Butter, if you're not vegan, will also do that. So check those out. You mentioned bone broth, as we were kind of just going through a list for bone density. Yes, again, if you're not vegan, do bone broth. Vegetable broth can also be excellent. It's very sustaining. So if you're doing a plant-based approach, make some excellent vegetable broths and then turn that into a really hearty soup. Okay.
Or just drink it on its own. It's almost like an incredibly nourishing tea.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yes.
And they're also really great for digestion and healing the digestive system.
For sure. Vitamin D, of course, really important for bone density, but also for someone who might not be getting a lot of sun exposure. So the person who has cerebral palsy might not be getting the sun exposure that somebody who'd be more active and outside would get. Selenium is also important for bone density, and you can get that from Brazil nuts. So here's some guidance for somebody with cerebral palsy or any of us who want to maintain good bone density. Make nut milks. You don't have to make them every day, but learn how to make a good nut milk. You need a Vitamix or a Blendtec or some kind of a high-speed blender. And the way I've been making it the last few years is what I call my health lazy approach. I just put the nuts and the seeds into the Vitamix. I add my water or coconut water. If I'm adding cacao or vanilla or salt or anything else to it, I throw that stuff in there. And I blend it on high for about a minute. And then I just pour it straight up. That's it. Just pour it up and drink it. No nut milk bag, no muss, no fuss. Just pour it up and have it. Nut milks are an excellent way.
I don't like it that way.
Yeah, Katrina wants. So I don't tend to make nut milks for Katrina, at least that way. We'll go ahead and get the nut milk bag out, which I did for years. But I get 100% of the nutrients out of it instead of like 90 or 95%.
I find for my digestion, it's just way too much nut. I don't think we should be eating too many nuts. I think like a tiny little handful is great. And I think as soon as you start throwing huge handfuls into a blender and blending them up, my digestion, everyone is different. You might feel that you feel amazing doing it, but my digestion does not enjoy processing that much nut matter.
Yeah.
And I mind the milks. The milks are great, but
as a raw vegan, I found that I digested nuts and seeds better in my overall diet. I could take on more of those than I could when I moved to a more integrative approach. So you've got to know yourself, figure it out.
And know where you're at, what season of life you're in. Sorry, go ahead.
No, apple cider vinegar in water before you have something like that will help you to digest the proteins and the fats that are in the nut milk. So there's a little bit of guidance on cerebral palsy. Very helpful, of course, being on the internet. Just go to Google and search up a health challenge and nutrition and see what common themes come up as you build out an approach for yourself if you're doing things on your own. All right, let's see here. Katerina, thank you so much. Sleep's the problem for me. I mean, I do so much preparation so I can handle the kids and everything. I still work on getting the juicing done. I made all the juices in the morning, but found I get very cold after each juice. So when I'm at home, I do it throughout the day. It's better, but mess everywhere. I hope I figured that out too. Yes, so you can make your juices throughout the day. They'll be a bit warmer than putting them all in the fridge and getting them to that temperature. For all of us, just talking about juice feasting practice, most of us find that we do best making our juices first thing in the morning or the night before, so that throughout the day, come what may, crazy kids, stuff at work, some appointment that you forgot about, traffic, stress at work, whatever it is, the juices are already there. They're ready for you. All you have to do is pick them up and drink them. That being said, it's the COVID era. A lot of us are working at home. If you know yourself and you go, yeah, I'm going to get in there every 90 minutes or every 3 hours and I'm going to make a new juice and I'm going to have it. If that's your thing and you do well with it, brilliant. The first juice feast I ever did, I made my juice a pint. That's a half a quart every 90 minutes right off my Samson juicer. I had no kids. I had no office to go to. I was building out the juice feasting program, and I knew that I would get up and really make that juice. And it was wonderful. Fresh juice every 90 minutes. Awesome. Let's see. Could you please tell me, how does your juicing morning look? What time do you get up? What do you do first, then the next steps? Excellent question. And do you still take MSM and lemon water? So when you're juice feasting, when you get up in the morning, here is your standard morning. Now you can find this on the How to Juice Feast course on juicefeasting.com. That course is free. So we have morning practices listed out on there in a section called A Day in the Life of a Juice Feaster. That's right. So I'm basically expressing in short form here a day in the life of a juice feaster. You're going to wake up, brush your teeth, scrape your tongue, go into the kitchen, make yourself a liter or a quart of water with lemon and MSM in there. MSM is a potent anti-inflammatory. It also helps to energize you. So when we're talking about energy, it energizes you because your body is able to assimilate more nutrients across the board when you take MSM. You can do
that morning water warm as well. If you're feeling cold after your juices, I don't know where you're living, but maybe if you're living somewhere that is cold, try and do as much warm liquid as you can, especially if you're putting your juices in the fridge and then bringing them out and being cold. Just to get back to the feeling cold after juice question, because you don't want to feel cold. It's a horrible feeling when you're cleansing. It just can dampen your spirits and your morale and everything. So do the best you can to stay warm. And one of the best ways that I've found to do that while juicing is to make sure that everything else that I'm drinking aside from the juice is warm. So make yourself some ginger tea, any kind of tea, drink your morning water warm. There's lots of other things you can be doing to keep yourself warm, but certainly just because David was mentioning morning water, you can be doing that warm. I do every morning in the winter here.
And then you can do oil swishing next. So if you're juice feasting, I've put oil swishing in the program because a lot of people have dental issues. It really helps with gingivitis, problems with bad breath, all kinds of stuff. Minor dental caries can be helped out by doing oil swishing, and it goes way back in the Ayurvedic tradition out of India. So just a tablespoon of oil, swish it in your mouth for about 15 minutes. But you're going to walk straight into the bathroom where you'll do several things. Dry skin brush for 90 seconds. Doesn't take any longer than that. It's 90 seconds. Then jump in the shower where you'll do a standing enema, which I won't go over the details of that right now. But you can do a standing enema, and you can look it up on YouTube. I did a whole video on it.
Is it up on YouTube?
That's on YouTube. Video? Highly watched video, standing enemas. Nobody had ever done a standing enema video before because nobody had talked about doing standing enemas. It was a flash of insight I had when we lived in Ecuador back in 2012. So it works, and it saves a lot of time. You're going to do a standing enema. You're going to bathe. You're going to wash your hair. Before your shower's over, you're going to spit out the oil that you've been swishing in your mouth privately, and you are going to do a hot and cool contrast shower. Just switch back and forth between hot and cool water. This is not Wim Hof, so if you've studied that, we're not trying to freeze ourselves and adjust or steel our systems to really cold water, which is an amazing practice, but that's not what we're accomplishing here.
So it's just a lymph stimulation.
Just moving lymphatic fluid and blood back and
hot
forth.
And cold.
That's right. Hydrotherapy goes back thousands of years. End on the temperature that's right for you. So if you're feeling cold, definitely end on warm or hot water. Step out of the shower, dry off, go get dressed, and you're ready to make your juice. So that's the first part of your morning. Making juice itself. Now, I like to make juice in the Vitamix, and we teach how to do that. Cup of water in the bottom, add your celery, your cucumber, your leafy greens, other juiceables on top, blend it on high for 15 seconds, pop the top, add more stuff, blend on high for another 15 seconds, and pour that into a nut milk bag, which is inside of a bowl. And then I go right back to doing that same process again a couple of blends, pour it into the nut milk bag, and I do it a third time and pour half into one nut milk bag and half in the other. I've got 2 bowls, and then I squeeze all the juice at once. Now that is a very short explanation of the process that I like to use when I'm making 4 quarts or more of juice. To say in a bit longer form, get all your produce out first. Wash and cut everything that needs to be washed and cut. If you're going to blend everything that you're going to be blending all at once. Then squeeze all the juice that you're going to be squeezing all at once. Then add your goodies back in. So I'll take the Vitamix pitcher, pour the juice out of the bowls into the Vitamix, spin it on the lowest setting and add Vitamineral Green or Pure Synergy or Spirulina or Chlorella or anything like that in there, and it will mix it right into the juice. And then I can pour that with the pitcher of the Vitamix right into my quart-sized jars, which have been the official jar of Juice Feasting since 2004. Cap it right off and put it in the fridge, or have your first one. So that process, at my best, I can do it in about 45 minutes, right? We can make 2 gallons of juice in about 45 or 50 minutes working together. And if this is one of us, we can still knock it out in about 45 minutes.
To an hour. I think it depends.
And sometimes it takes an hour.
If you've got, mom to mom, if you've got kids, it will probably take longer because there's, you're constantly interrupted as a mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should not take super longer than 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
We've never juice feasted for any length of time with any other method than the Vitamix method. So it'd be interesting to hear from people how long it's taking them to use a press juicer or a masticating juicer, because I think those take a little bit longer.
Well, I can speak to the length of time it takes to use juicers, because I did. Before you and I found each other, before we met back in 2007, I did have some years of experience juicing just with juicers. I used a Samson juicer. I used a Juice Man Junior. I had some other kind of juicer. I can't remember what it was, but the Samson was the main one. Little single auger, press style juicer with a little conical screen at the end. I love that thing. You could pop it off, clean it in minutes, and put it right back on and get right back to juicing. So very, very helpful. But I would usually use a centrifugal juicer for root vegetables and then the Samson to press almost everything else. And it takes more time to make juice that way. We have a beautiful Angel juicer. Like $1,200, all stainless steel, looks fantastic in photographs, makes a great quart of juice, but you have to name every leaf that you put in there. It's slow to make it. So when you're making a gallon of juice, you got to figure out some quicker way to do it. And for me, I found the Vitamix. We like the Vitamix or a Blend Tech will also do it. We'll blend things down fast and you can squeeze it fast. All of that being said, we are going to put up more juicers on juicefeasting.com. There are some great juicers out there that are top loading, top down with a big screen on there. And I have clients saying they can make their 4 quarts of juice in about 45 or 50 minutes without having to clean the juicer once. They just time where they put all their stuff in.
That's usually where
and it just presses all the juice right out. So it is possible.
It's usually where the extra time comes in, is all the cleaning of the juicer that you have to do in between. I just wanted to say one more thing to the mom, or all the moms. Good. That whole morning that David just laid out might be near impossible to get all of those things in. You may be rolling out of bed, immediately addressing your children's needs, and there's no time to make it into the bathroom to do that whole list of detox helpers that David mentioned. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like your juice feast is still going to be really successful.
Oh, yeah.
As often as you can, get in and get that little moment to yourself. 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes in the bathroom to do all of those detox helpers, the better. But you're not going to throw yourself totally off course by not doing them every morning before you make your juice. So if you're fitting all of that into a busy morning with family and working at home, then find a moment when it works. Maybe it works in the evening before you go to bed, which is also a really great way to slow your system down and get ready for bed. It's to do all of the oil pulling and do your enema, have your shower, do your hot and cold shower. Fit it in when you can, and don't worry about it if your son or your daughter needs 20 minutes of extra help with their shoes in the morning.
Well said.
How that goes.
Yeah, well said. I've worked with
socks have thrown off many a morning in our house.
I've worked with many professionals over the years, particularly professionals who are also parents. So there's no way that I can do the juices and make all the juice and do the morning practices prior to that in the morning and get my kids and my partner out the door for all of our busy lives. And so they pick something. They either do the morning practices in the evening and then make the juices that morning, or they'll make juices the night before. Cap those things off, put them in the fridge, and they're like, good job, now I'm going to bed, and I know all I have to do is get up and do my morning practices. All right, great. So Sean writes, what does Sean say?
Is light weight training or body resistance training safe with 4, 5, or more pints of juice a day? So you're doing pints? Are you meaning pints or quarts? Because
Might mean quarts.
4 pints would only be 2 quarts. So we're usually advocating for
8 pints of juice.
8 pints of juice,
Or more.
which would be 4 quarts of juice.
Yeah.
I'm around 60-40 vegetable versus fruit juices daily right now and getting about 55 to 60 grams of protein. Or do you recommend waiting until after a juice feast is completed?
Great question.
Thanks.
So in the first 30 days of a juice feast, and this goes for almost anybody I'm working with, unless somebody has already done serious strength training for a year or more going into a juice feast. Now, if they have that regular habit, we're in a different category. For the rest of us who are just, I get out for a walk. I mean, I do some push-ups. You want to wait for the first 30 days before you get into any strength training. The point of exercise on a juice feast is not to build strength or endurance. The point of exercise while you're juice feasting is to keep things in motion, to keep your lymphatic system in motion, to keep your cardiovascular system in motion, to keep your digestive system in motion, because stagnation is the first stage of disease, and we're wanting to resolve that. We want your body to be able to let go and take on new nutrients. So exercise on a juice feast is in service to that. Walking, yoga, rebounding, maybe swimming. Okay, if you want to go for a swim, those kinds of low-impact aerobic activities, cardiovascular activities are where it's at. Building muscle is something you can do on a juice feast, but you need to be drinking 8 pints or more of juice a day for sure, and getting in, so you're talking about 55, 60 grams of protein. You want to be getting upwards of like 80 to 100 grams of protein. It's tough. You need to be drinking, really to do good strength training on a juice feast, about 6 quarts of juice a day, which 12 pints of juice a day. I've done it. I did it between days 60 and 75 on a juice feast we did back in Arizona years ago. It can be done. I mean, I felt fine. I felt great. But
we were also in a hot, dry
environment.
Which makes a difference. It makes a difference what the air around you is like and how much you're sweating and how much is coming out in your breath. And that can affect how much juice you can drink.
And the arc of healing and health is long.
Quarts. Okay, great.
Yeah, okay, great.
Quarts.
So the arc of healing and health is long. So you don't need to be in a hurry about getting into strength training while you're on a juice feast. In fact, you'd be better served getting out for longer walks, doing more brisk walks, stretching, maybe getting in the pool and building up some better cardiovascular integrity. That's going to set the stage beautifully for you to do strength training post juice feast, where it's easier to get in a diet that's higher in protein. Great question.
Okay, let's go this one first. Well, thank you for your nice long, you're in the Czech Republic, so you've got a really similar spring to us, I believe, and it is cold. Awesome, you're doing Wim Hof. I'm not doing it right now, but I have family members who are, and they really love it. Okay, so she's got a question about poop. You like answering those questions.
All right, sure. How should it look during your 92-day program?
You do not like them.
It's going to look green or black. There's going to be periods where it's going to come through with an orange color. That's bile being released from the liver. You will have solid bowel movements at periods during a juice feast. You are going to have less solid or almost liquidy bowel movements during a juice feast.
So yes, like similar to diarrhea, like you say.
Yep.
It's not going to be super solid. It's going to be very watery. That's really normal.
Not dangerous. However, it means that if you're passing gas, it might not be gas, so be careful. The other thing to keep in mind is celery juice. So let's double click on celery juice for a minute. Fantastic for alkalinizing the bile produced by your liver. Fantastic for alkalinizing your small intestine, where you absorb 90% of your nutrients. Fantastic for healing the lining of the stomach so that your digestive fire is stronger. It's a lot going with celery. And as we mentioned last week, you can learn more about it in Cleanse and Purify Thyself by Richard Anderson, a book that came out like 25 years ago at this point. Known about celery for a long time. But I want to double click on this point. So those of you listening, celery can create looser bowel movements than you'd prefer on a juice feast. So if everything is just running right on through and you're like, whoa, hold the phone here, dial back your celery by a third, whatever amount. If you're using a whole head of celery, do 2/3 of a head for a few days, or do a half a head and see if that resolves your issue. The other thing you can use is psyllium and bentonite, or you could just take hydrated bentonite clay, a tablespoon of it, put it in about 10 ounces of water, drink that, wait half an hour, and go ahead and just drink your juices like normal. This can solidify things just enough that you don't have so many loose bowel movements. Usually that kind of thing calms down after the first 14 to 21 days, if that's going to happen for you. And then you're just like, yeah, I just haven't gone in a few days. I do my enemas, water looks lightly green, but I feel fine. Didn't even have my own bowel movement yesterday, and I feel great. Drinking all my juice, got a spring in my step, I'm sleeping well.
I don't have a headache. That's often a sign that something needs to move through better if you get headaches or any sort of crankiness in your body. So going to the bathroom 3 times a day, you had a question about, and you read somewhere that you should be going 2 to 3 times a day. I don't know if I don't think we have that on our site anywhere. Some people do say you should be going to the bathroom for as many times as you have a meal.
Yeah. 2 or 3 bowel movements a day when you're not juice feasting is normal, and that's fine.
It's also normal to have 1 a day.
1 or 2.
I don't subscribe to this idea that we need to be going as many times as we're eating. I never have in my whole life, and I've been really healthy most of my life. 1 time a day, and I've never had a goal of going 2 to 3 times a day. I know some people feel like they want to get their system toned up so that they can have that 2 to 3 times a day experience. It's never been a goal because it's never been a problem for me. I think, again, tune into your body. If you're feeling stagnant and you wish you could go more, then maybe look at digestion and how you can get that working more fluidly. But once a day, I believe, if everything else is feeling great, is enough.
The number one thing you can do for better regular bowel movements off a juice feast is eat more leafy greens.
And walking.
So if this, walking is, but I'm going to put leafy greens as number one, because I've even had clients who couldn't do that much walking, but the leafy greens changed it for them. Right. So if there's one change, getting in more than a pound of leafy greens a day, if that's been an issue for you, that will almost guaranteed resolve it. Green smoothies, blending a salad into a soup, having a salad, making green vegetable juice. What I call the 4 means to get your greens. Salad, soup, smoothie, and juice, all with greens. Getting in that many leafy greens, 1 to 2 pounds of leafy greens a day, will resolve a constipation issue, almost guaranteed. Yeah.
So I hope that answers the poop question. If not, it sounds like from what you're writing that it's all good.
Yeah.
If you've got an extra question, you can type it in, but it sounds like everything's good.
So what are the best juices and smoothies for after chemo having to do with leukemia? So I would recommend parsley juice. Cilantro in your juices would be an excellent choice. I would get in radish into my juice to support the thyroid in that case. I'd also look at getting in iodine, which you can just put into your morning water or put into tea or something like that. But I would do that. I would also tend to emphasize smoothies over juices because the fiber in the smoothies is going to help to draw things out of the intestinal tract and move it on through. It's also going to stabilize your blood sugar better, which is going to be best for your nervous system coming out of chemotherapy, which is a pretty big attack on your nervous system. It's a stressor to your system. Sauerkraut, as we mentioned earlier in our Q&A today, outstanding for reestablishing the health of your intestinal tract and your colon. So you could eat sauerkraut with abandon and do really, really well with that. Beet juice in your juices or in your smoothies, or just cooking beets, is going to be really restorative for you after chemotherapy. So in terms of juices and smoothies, those are some good pieces of guidance there. What you're looking at post-chemo is, how can I get in really assimilable nutrients, a dynamic range of nutrients? So you don't want things that are high sugar, low nutrient, of course. So looking at root vegetables, looking at supplements and superfoods, particularly superfood complexes like Vitamineral Green, Pure Synergy, Spirulina, Chlorella. things like that are going to be restorative to your system. And if you're not vegan, as we talked about before, bone broth is an excellent choice. If you're doing vegan, make the best vegetable broths that you can and get that in there. Even compound things like noble mushrooms, reishi, shiitake, turkey tail, agarikon. There's a bunch of them. Look at Paul Stamets. Look at Paul Stamets and mushrooms and find the noble or medicinal mushrooms that you can integrate post-chemo. And good luck to you. Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, Katrina, go ahead.
I also think it's important when you're dealing with cancer and post-chemo to keep things organic. We say often that a non-organic juice feast is better than no juice feast, and I totally agree with that. But when your body is working with the extra burden project of also healing from cancer, then 100% organic, for sure. And we've been thinking about you and sending your family love. I know that's been a challenge, and I hope, praying for your family. I hope that this little bit of info goes in the right direction.
Intermittent fasting, also really powerful post-chemotherapy or to keep cancer at bay, because you are activating the factors in your immune system that kill off cancer cells and keep cancer at bay, and you're removing a lot of the underlying causes of cancer. So studying intermittent fasting and learning how to do that well, learning how to do a good eating window that's of an appropriate length, and then outside of that, nice fasting windows, and learning how to be dynamic in your approach to intermittent fasting. You're like, I know how to do a 72-hour fast, and I also know how to do a day where I just have a 16-hour fasting window, and then I've got 8 hours where I'm eating. But I'm making really good choices in exercising fasted state as an asset. As we get older, our body still does repair work. It will still kick out cancer cells and kill them off, but it doesn't do it as quickly as it did when we were younger. So as we get older, our bodies simply require more latitude or more time to do the work that they used to do in a shorter period of time. So be a little bit like house cleaning when you were in your early 20s. You might be able to whip that together really quick. But if you're in your 70s, for example, you're like, I can still clean house, but I need a bit more time to do it. So could you provide me the time, and I will definitely whip this together. That's the way our bodies work too. So intermittent fasting provides that latitude or that space, that opportunity for your body to do what it's known how to do your whole life.
Well, and keeping things low glycemic. Who was it who wrote the book on the fasting expert? Is it Fung?
Yeah, Dr. Jason
Dr.
Fung.
Jason Fung has written a book on healing from cancer that's really excellent. So you might want to look up him.
Yeah. F-U-N-G, Jason Fung.
Enika also has a question about cabbage juice. Is cabbage juice good to increase stomach acid? Maybe together with fennel and celery. I tried your ACV, but it was a bit strong. I agree. David does it really strong. And again, that's such a personal thing because he's had digestive challenges around acid reflux, which actually means his stomach acid tends to be lower. Yeah. So he needs extra boost. I do not. So I don't drink it as strong as he does either. Cabbage juice.
Yeah.
Fennel and celery.
So on ACV, just back off from the numbers that I have given. 2 tablespoons would be the max, but you could do a tablespoon or a half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and a little bit more water and drink that and see if it works better for you. You'll find the amount that works right for you.
Well, and celery juice also helps to increase stomach acid because it's coating the stomach and helping it get stronger and building more stomach acid also.
So the organic sodium that's in celery is the alkaline buffer that's stored in the lining of your stomach to protect the stomach lining from the acid that the stomach itself produces. The stomach itself knows that if there's not enough organic sodium lining and protecting the stomach, that it shouldn't produce so much stomach acid. It doesn't want to damage itself. So when you drink celery juice, you're reestablishing that alkaline lining, and the stomach goes, wonderful, we're all protected here. Full bore ahead on making stomach acid because we're all good. So the celery will do it. Fennel does have some organic sodium in it as well, which will help. And you asked about cabbage. Tastes great. You asked about cabbage juice to increase stomach acid. Cabbage juice is actually more healing and nourishing for the stomach. And then the downstream effect is a happier stomach's going to produce stomach acid better. I'll give you one more on increasing stomach acid production, and that is to get in zinc. Now you can eat pumpkin seeds and get a lot of good zinc in. You can also just supplement zinc. Easy to find zinc chelate out on the marketplace. So get some zinc and start taking that. The cells that line your stomach that make stomach acid are called parietal cells. And those parietal cells need zinc to do their job, which is to make stomach acid. At least that's the main job that they do. So if you're low in zinc, you'll tend to be low in stomach acid. A factor for that is, do I have chronic inflammation? Do my heels crack? Dry, cracked heels are a common kind of downstream symptom of having low zinc. But you can supplement with zinc easily and help your stomach produce more stomach acid. Great question, Enika. Thank you. And thanks for being on today.
I think we're at 11:30.
We are at 11:30 right now. So let's see. If there's anything else that we wanted to talk about today, maybe we should just leave everything else for next week. Thank you all for being on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we will do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, basically. We'll be here on Facebook. We will announce it so that everybody can come on, get your questions ready for next week. Please, when you see the announcement go out, tell other people about this Q&A session. It is our mission to get the information about juice feasting and integrative health out to as many people as possible. So if you would please send out the announcement to people that you're connected with, we'd love it so that we can continue to have a really great roundtable Q&A for Wednesdays. And have a great week, everybody. We will see you in the Juice Feasting Green Room and in the Motivation Group and right here next week for another Wednesday Q&A Live.
Thank you.
Bye.